hell is going on here?
If you walk, crime, if you walk, if you walk, crime, if you walk, yeah, it's your boy Lil Scrappy. If you walk, if you walk, yeah, Lil J on the track, nigga. If you go, hey, it's time for all the security. If you get around, it's going down.
Well, I'm a cat toe, just a holding nigga on your damn street. Stomping, jumping, bumping, every cork off in this damn place. Throwing the balls up at these soldiers, screaming and bleeding from their nose. But when we start this flow, we make them niggas hit the flow. Ain't no game off in this thing. We be deep off in your body. Call my niggas get it started. And with niggas be the hardest. So if a nigga come and run they mattress like a hoe, punch him dead up in his nose and stomp his ass down to the floor.
Yeah, we knocking and bucking and ready to fight. I bet ya I'ma throw them things away the specific twice. See me, I ain't nothing nice. Ain't caught up, it ain't no stopping. Becky like said that was ain't killer and that's time I've been lying. Like they said, they got popping and I am acting a fool. I wish I had a wicked crunk up on this crime my crew. Now enough is enough, why I run and get stuck, why love is a must, why enough if you fuck.
Hey everyone, hello. How is everyone doing?
Hi.
Hey y'all.
Woo!
Were you dancing?
Because
I was.
Always.
I
was looking and booking.
Sometimes I be low key disappointed when the year bomb drop.
Right?
I know. I was like, damn it.
That just took me back down through memory lane, that song.
For real.
Oh my
It's an
God,
anthem. It's an
showtime,
anthem.
right? Look at
Yes.
that. Well, happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Margarita Room. I am your girl, Dutch, and both my girls there. Introduce yourselves, ladies.
Hey y'all, it's Ray.
What's up? It's Ree.
Hey, it's Tamykah.
Yay!
My friend is back.
I missed y'all.
Woo!
About to be a litty pod.
Yay! Welcome back, Tamykah.
Thank you for having me. I
Yes.
missed y'all, man. It's
Yeah,
a vibe.
We missed having you.
Missed you for
It's
sure.
definitely a vibe. I've had so many questions from the other, like when I post the clips and stuff from the other shows.
Mhm.
It's like opened up so many conversations. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so
We
great.
love to
That's
see
what
it.
it's about.
Yes.
We love to hear that. We love to make connections. We
Yes, because sis stay busy.
Yeah, we love
Right.
to hear the growth and people opening people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
What else is possible? Other ways of thinking. So, wow, that makes me feel great. Good
Yes.
job, ladies.
Wait, what's that on your head, Dutch? Is that a clear quartz?
This is citrine.
Ooh.
Yes, it's for positivity and abundance.
I think it also taps into creativity too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it taps into all that. My fertility. I actually bought this for myself for my 40th birthday.
Nice.
And I wear it every single day. From the minute I wake up, I put this crown on my head. Before I even walk out the door to walk my pups, even though you don't see it, it's there. And gotta maintain positivity and abundance 24/7. You feel me?
Absolutely.
I do.
Yeah. So thank
I
you.
do.
Walk it like you talk it.
Yeah. So what's up, ladies? Happy Thursday.
More
Happy to be
importantly,
here. I
like,
missed y'all.
happy 26th day of the year. What's happening?
Right?
Is it the 26th
Right.
already?
The 26th day of the year.
We about to like
Actually,
be
it
out
feels-
of
It feels like it's
January.
been longer. Honestly, to me, it has. Yeah.
You know what I'm realizing is that, you know how we talk about people being on different timelines?
Yeah.
Like, I'm realizing that it feels like I'm jumping timelines. So like sometimes
what
it feels
way?
like time is moving slower, and in other times it feels like time is moving faster. But it's like relative to certain things. And it makes me you know how, you know, we talk about it and we know that it exists because, you know, time is what it is.
Right.
It's like more of a fabrication, right?
Yeah,
But
time is definitely an illusion.
I'm like really realizing that different people are on different timelines.
Right.
So we're experiencing like the same things,
Yeah.
but in different ways.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like we do live in multi kind of life cycles as well, which could also be part of the timeline.
That's true. And I was talking, we were talking, Dutch, about like the veil, right? And like the veil being lifted. And
Lifted.
last year I had so many like downloads about that. I didn't even know what it really meant, but I just kept hearing that, like hearing it.
Hearing
And
what?
then
The veil being
like
lifted?
the veil is being lifted, and I'm like, what is this veil, right? And the first thing that I thought of was, you know, like when a baby is born, but they don't come out of, they don't, I think they call it the cull. Like they're born, but they're still in the sack.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, I forget what kind of birth that is. Yeah, I know what you're talking
and I
about.
should know, but I
know.
don't.
Shouldn't we all?
Yeah, it's like that baby is in like a whole other world, right?
Right.
Like within that space by itself, it's in like a whole nother world. And this pregnancy is the first one where I really like tracked stuff, you know, like every week it's like your baby's the size of a this now, because I can like do that now. Right. And I think I was at my 28th week, and it was like the baby can dream.
Wow.
And I was like, that was one sentence. Break that down to me, because
right.
If the baby has not been like, what, you know, we dream about various things. What are those visions? Right. Like, what is the baby seeing when it's dreaming?
If I was to speculate, I mean, because, you know, we could play around with this forever because nobody knows. Like, baby ain't coming out and be like, yo, Ma, look, let me tell you about this dream that I had right before you push me out.
Let me find out the baby came out, was like, Nick, you ain't gonna believe it.
Right?
Yo, Ma!
The baby's like,
should I see?
never seen a person's face before, right?
Yeah.
But in this lifetime. But I believe that you still have memory. Like when you come into this existence, like the closer you are to your incarnation, like you remember. So I feel like the baby is having dreams about its past lifetimes. You know what I mean?
I'm wondering if they use dream in a different meaning, because, you know, everything has multiple meanings. So maybe they're not meaning dream like in a
no. They mean
having
dream
thoughts.
Yeah,
but I mean, like maybe it's more of the act of dreaming, but they're not dreaming of a specific thing. Maybe it's like the actual act of a dream. So like it's processing information, because you know how your brain is forming. Their brain is forming. So maybe they're processing like in a dream kind of state. And
that's already dope. Like
that gave me anxiety.
Almost as if it was like a comatose state.
Exactly.
Like you see in the movies sometimes, in like some of those like sci-fi movies.
That's what I'm thinking. But I mean, it could be whatever, because none of us are ever gonna find out. But
I told Dutch, my youngest, my 6-year-old, like she remembers being in the womb, right, Josh? We had this conversation.
Yeah,
you know,
she
remembers
for a second. For those that are seers, can sit for a second and try to go within. You can go within and it'll
discover a lot of stuff. But you know, as far as the veil being lifted, the way it relates to the dreaming is that when we dream, they claim that we're on this 5D realm, right? We're on the 5D, the astral realm, right? And I noticed last year that my dreams started getting a lot more vivid, right?
How
you know,
so?
like smelling, like I was actually experiencing the senses in my dreams. Not only that, they were kind of like premonitions too. Like I would dream about something and then something would happen later and I would be like, oh wow, that's what my dream was talking about. It warned me about different people. And even being pregnant, that's a thing too. Like your dreams
That's what I
are
was gonna ask.
wild.
I noticed the same
Absolutely
thing. Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
But it was like I had a download, like don't do anything in your dream that you wouldn't normally do in the 3D. So for example, you know, like how people have wet dreams and they're like, you know, you're in your dream and somebody wants to have sex with you and you're like, shit, it ain't really cheating, right? I'm just gonna go with the flow. Right?
It's the imagination, right?
It's dream
But
world. I can't control it.
It's not like that anymore. You know what I mean? Like the veil between the realms, it has lifted, right? And so even now, a lot of us experience a lot of spiritual attacks and just a lot of just different things going on. And one of the ways that that's happening is through astral projection, which happens through our dreams. So I was like, I had a download and it was like, don't eat anything in your dream. Don't drink anything in your dream. If somebody offers you something, say no. Don't have sex in your dream, because who the hell wants to be knocked up astrally?
Right.
Right?
No.
Astral projection is. Can you explain that?
Well, and people have the ability to do it without even realizing that they're doing it, right? And when we think about projection, it's like, you know, you are moving from one space into another without actually physically moving. So you're like projecting from the physical space into another space. And it really depends on how deep people believe or want to believe about how the spiritual world works. But you are able to, some people, for example, you meet a guy and he doesn't want anything to do with you. Like you like him a lot, but he don't want anything to do with you. So you go to somebody that specializes in this astral projection realm where they're able to do these things. And you're like, you know what? I want to interact with him on the spiritual realm because it's as above, so below. Right. So whatever happens spiritually, right, on it then descends to the 3D realm. And so there are people that do stuff like that, right? They'll go to different practitioners and spiritualists and stuff, and they'll want to project certain things into somebody's subconscious. What you think is your subconscious, but it's really like a different realm. So now it's like almost like a love spell. You know, he has a dream, has an experience, and he's like, oh, I love her. I want to be with her now.
You can go to somebody and help you do this?
Yeah, but there are people, to be honest with you, this is what I believe. I believe that we all have the ability to do a lot of things.
Sure.
Right?
I was just going to say, like, literally.
It's about tapping in. Yeah. People have astral projected into my dreams, and I have confronted them in my dreams. Right? That's when it gets deep, because when you know that it's happening, right? Like you have full control. The person that you are here and the rank that you have here on the physical realm, right? You have a whole different rank happening spiritually, right? And so you might not even know how powerful you are on the spiritual realm yet. I'm learning that as I grow. But I've been able to confront people in my dream, like, be gone. Return to sender. You're not welcome here. Any of that. And when I wake up in the morning, because it's also a form of energy harvesting. When people astral project into certain spaces, they're able to pull from you because you're not able to defend yourself in certain ways, right? So when I wake up in the morning,
it's important to close your chakras at
exactly. At nighttime, I close my chakras. And it could be as simple as just saying, I close my chakras, because remember we spoke about like the power of your tongue, right? But when I wake up in the morning, I say, I call back my energy with love, light, and cleansed, because I don't know where it went. So when it comes back to me, I want to make sure it comes back the way it needs to. Because sometimes you realize that you wake up and you feel like off.
You're tired.
You feel tired. Yeah.
So like,
and you're just like having thoughts that aren't really your thoughts.
My back hurts, my neck hurts.
And it's been happening a lot lately because the veil is lifted.
On you, okay?
Yeah. I wake up with scratches.
Chakras at night. Listen, everyone, let me do a your bomb so everyone pays attention.
Yeah.
Energy stealing is a real thing.
It's a real thing. Like it's a monetary thing.
So
People
when
will
we
pay for
say
it.
energy vampires and like you're sucking my energy, that's a real thing. So for those who realize that they are light beings, you need to close your chakras at night. It's a form of maintenance, right? Just like you put your night creams on and do all that stuff to protect yourself, right? Your hair and your skin. You also need to close yourself spiritually. So what you need to do is just go through each chakra, right? Go through your crown chakra and say it out loud. I close my crown chakra like a rosebud. I close my third eye chakra like a rosebud. I close my throat chakra like a rosebud. I close my heart chakra like a rosebud. I close my solar plexus like a rosebud. I close my sacral like a rosebud. And I close my root like a rosebud. That's it, babe. That's all you got to do. And then you sleep tight in the morning, wake up and call back your energy and you're good to go. Okay?
Yeah. And I mean, some people get deep with it. Some people, they'll have like different candles for different chakras, like the different colors, or just the white one with the name of the chakra on it. And they'll like light the candle, say what they got to say, blow it out. You know, everybody has different things that they do. But to be quite honest, that's just giving power away too. Like you got to know how powerful you are. You don't need all the extra stuff.
Exactly.
I'm not saying if you feel like you do, then you do, right? But for me, the speaking, I realize that tongue, like speaking it out loud is really a big deal. And I was getting attacked for a while. And I didn't know what the hell was going on, especially being pregnant. Man, I remember one time I woke up and there were scratches on my stomach, right? And in my dream, there was a cat that kept following me, but it was like a panther looking cat. And the cat jumped at me. And when the cat jumped at me, I put my hands up. And when I put my hands up, the cat dug each of its claws into like underneath my nail. And I felt it. The top two was like this. And then the bottom two dug into my stomach. Right. And I woke up and I had scratches on my stomach. Right. And it happens to my little one sometimes too. Right. Like it's when I say the veil lifted, meaning like dreams are more real than we think that they are. And you'll notice now that you are remembering more of your dreams. Before it was more like, I think I did it, but like you're going to remember them. And as soon as I wake up in the morning, I have like a dream diary, dream journal, and everything that I remember, I write it down.
Right.
Every single thing.
My legs are trembling.
Yeah.
and now they just stopped.
Yes.
Wow.
It's deep.
My legs are going crazy right now. Do you hear me?
It's deep. It is. And you see we're taking a lot of things for granted right now, but it's a definite spiritual warfare happening. And that's not just like on the spiritual realm, because it has to happen spiritually before it happens here. It's already happened spiritually, right? Now it's coming down here. That's why. And I was speaking to Dutch like last year, and I was like, there's going to be a lot of deaths in the first 3 months of this year. I said, I feel it. I can feel it. I see it. I mean, a lot of unexplained, what the hell, random, because I already saw it happening. There's like a shift going on right now. Yeah. And that's why there are a lot of things around that are trying to distract us from that shift, right? Stupid things in the media, celebrity bull crap. It's like at an all-time high, like stupid stuff with the celebrities. I'm like, why are people even looking at
what are we paying attention to?
This toothless girl? I don't even know what her name is. Like, why are we even paying attention to these things?
Right.
And it's because it's a distraction, because too many people are starting to realize that it's an illusion. Certain things are illusions. And so they have to start piling it on.
Yeah.
Heavier. Right? So that you won't even have a chance to think.
Right.
Oh my God, Tamykah.
You know, we be talking.
Tamykah.
We talk about stuff we can't even see on YouTube.
Right.
Because Tamykah, because it's the truth, because then they just start popping up.
Yes.
You see, the distractions, literally, the distractions will come at you all different ways in all different forms, right? In the forms of fat asses, your
Mhm.
ex who's got a beard. You feel me? The niggas just start popping up, and they're tests. They're
Mhm.
tests. Y'all gotta.
I'm telling you, it's definite like maintenance time.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now is maintenance, and really like seeing things for what they are, not for what you want them to be or what they want you to make you see or all of that.
Right.
Like just seeing things for what they are.
Y'all.
And if you're spiritual or connected to the spiritual world in any way, like there's no denying that something is happening.
Oh yeah.
You may not know what it is depending on where you are in that spectrum, but if you don't feel it, then I don't know what to tell you.
Mhm.
I don't know what to tell you. I was very scared, not really scared, but like anxious about being pregnant during this time because, pregnancy opens you up to a lot more. You know what I mean? Like it's they say on a physical
Your
level,
senses
you're
are heightened, probably.
extremely, but your immune system is lower.
Yes.
Right.
And when I say immune, I'm not just talking about the physical, like
Right.
your emotions
Exactly.
are, you know what I'm saying? So I was nervous about even going through because I knew that it was going to be a strange time. But God was like, Hermit mode.
Now is it?
Hermit mode.
So
He
how
said,
do you feel
How are you
now that
handling-
you? Oh, go ahead, Ree.
I was just saying, how are you handling the hermit mode? I mean, I know you already do a lot within your home as far as your family and everything anyway, but how have you switched it up as far as, are you just being more careful? Like, what does the hermit mode look like now?
Hermit mode for me, I mean, I was already pushed into hermit mode last year, right? It wasn't even a choice, to be honest. Because I'm hard-headed. I'm a Taurian, like y'all know. So sometimes God be like, you know what I mean? He'd be like, all right, you
tap
need
on the
to...
shoulder.
And I'd be like, I don't feel that. What's that?
And then he says, oh, really?
Yeah. I need to get knocked on my ass. You know what I'm saying? That I know myself, right? So I was not paying attention to certain signs about certain people, right? And energy. I was not paying attention as much as I should to energy. I was so into like a people-pleasing space that I wasn't even like realizing or thinking about, why do I even want to try to please these people, right? Why do I have to exert the effort to do so without just being myself, right? And so I was giving so much. And all of a sudden, one by one, like friends started dropping off, like weird stuff. People that I thought, you know how you'd be like, she would never, that one that would never like did, right? And then another one, and then another one, and then another one. And certain things got revealed to me, and it's almost like God was preparing me to be in a space to receive a partner and to be pregnant. Because if I had all of those things going on still right now, I would not be in a good space, I don't think, right? Sure. So for me, hermit mode wasn't really a choice. It was kind of like the circumstances of my life kind of just made it happen. But now, like, for example, I think I was telling Dutch, like, I've been trying to get outside for a minute. You know what I mean? This is dying. It is like I want to hug a tree. I want to do, but it's like weird. Like in the middle of my pregnancy, I was getting frustrated because no matter what I tried, I'd like, something always happened. Something happened with the kids. Something happened with that. And I was pissed off, right? I was telling the king, I was like, you don't even understand. It's like a prison. The walls. And I'm like, but I'm gonna be already in prison when the baby get here because I won't be able to do anything because I'm gonna be breastfeeding, and so I just want to get out now. And so he made some. I mean, there was really not much he could do. Like our lives are just what our lives are, right? And he does his part. But just weird things would happen. And one day I was like, God, what the fuck? Because I don't know how y'all talk to God, but we have an understanding.
He created you.
Right?
You know what he getting?
He knows your heart.
Some days I'm gonna be like, yo, my nigga, what the fuck are you like? What's happening? The other days
I've had like, the bruh.
Sis,
bruh.
It's one day it's a bruh, one day it's a sit. Like, listen, I don't know what the plans are, but I'm gonna need you to send me a Lifeline or something that look like one, because I don't get it, and I'm losing it. Give me something. Give me that little mustard seed you be talking about. You know what I'm saying? Give me something.
that
so
mustard seed y'all be talking about.
He like sat me down. One day I was just like laying there and I was crying. I mean, like that snot nose cry, like I just want to do this. And he was like, yo, don't you realize that like what you're carrying, right, needs to be protected in a certain way. There's nothing out there for you. There's nothing out there for
what you got right here.
Right.
Focus on what you got right here. Right? You want to go out because you think you're missing something. But you're not missing nothing. Chill.
No, that's.
And you know what's weird is that the more I went to the doctor after that, like certain things, and I realized it's a good thing I was still. Right? So as we talk about all the time, retrospect, hindsight, all of that good stuff. But sometimes we get caught up in the other, right? Like when we see things, and that's what the downfall of being on social media. You see things and you internalize it in a certain way, and you're like, I want that, right? And you don't realize that ain't for you, right? And it's not that it's depriving you, it's that there's something greater that you're supposed to be doing.
It's not your
You're
story.
looking at somebody else's timeline.
Yeah,
that ain't your timeline.
That's not your story. Yeah,
that's not your story.
Yeah.
And in retrospect now that I'm like a few weeks out, I see it now. It's little stuff like, oh, if you would have went there was a shooting there. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to go to the nail salon, but a block away somebody got killed. You could have been, you know, that it's little things, and you start realizing, you know what, I need to reevaluate and recalibrate my trust in the divine, right? And stop being so selfish, because my goal, my mission, my purpose, or whatever, it ain't about me. What people don't realize is that when you come into this lifetime that we're in, you choose to be here.
Right.
You create your own contract before you even get here. Some of us just forget it. Right. And the whole point is you already know the lessons that you have to learn when you reincarnate here. Right. It's your choice because you know what you need to learn. You know what I'm saying? I had to come to that understanding too.
Right.
Everything that's going on right now, you created that for yourself. You know? So
your shit, Tamykah.
I don't know. Me and Dutch I be hitting her up with, I'll be like, yo.
No, funny and purpose, it all makes sense.
It does. Timing and purpose. That's a perfect summation. So Tamykah, talking about like retrospect, you know how you said you were nervous about being pregnant in this time when the veil was being lifted. In retrospect, how do you feel now going through the pregnancy in this moment in time? Do you feel that maybe you overthought it, or do you feel like, yeah, this was a tough one? Like, what's your thought?
Both, right?
Okay.
It was a tough one because I overthought it. And me being the super analytical, always want to like, person that I am, I had to tap into other things. I mean, this is my first time carrying an earth baby. I mean, a water baby.
Right? Yeah, we talked about that last time.
Like I've carried earth. I am earth, right? I've carried air. I've carried fire. But water, this put me in a whole nother zone. I was out of my...
I know, we are different.
I had to tap into my Cancer.
Yeah,
I had to tap into my Cancer part of my chart because I wasn't ready for all of the emotional stuff. But to answer your question, Ray, I understand now, right? I understand what this baby means, right? I understand the purpose of it. I understand why I had to be made to sit and pay attention to every single thing that was happening inside of me, right? And I was talking about the dreams and being pregnant and how like they're more vivid. Even when I'm not dreaming, like we communicate, right? Like he will warn me about certain things, right? I don't even know how to explain it. There's a communication happening there. And he's the one that be like, chill, like, I'm
Just sit your
good.
ass down, mama. Damn.
I'm
Like, yo,
good.
can we chill
Everything
for a
is
minute?
fine.
Chill, mommy. We
in your
good.
head, the warning. Do you see it in your head? Do you feel it in your soul? Do you get like a feeling? Do you see the person, like envision like how does that come across?
I had one time when it was in my dream and the baby was talking to me like in my dream.
You heard the baby's voice.
No, it's like not, you don't even hear the voice. It's like,
It's just like intuition.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. And it's never wrong, right? Like, stay away from that person. That person wishes you harm, right? Or I'll be on the phone with that person and I'll have a feeling, like a physical feeling, like a pain. Now, it could be a kick. It could be and it's like, oh, I get it.
Those waters run deep.
Yeah.
Those emotions with water signs.
No, and
that's really interesting that you brought that point up, because I've never even considered like what does pregnancy feel like with a specific sign.
Oh,
that's a whole nother.
It's different. Process. Even a different like gender is totally different. Like, you know how they say stuff like boys make you
exactly.
You shape this
like
way
a
or
bullet.
that.
Yeah.
And that's all true too, but it's deeper than that. Because as I was talking to Dutch, she asked me like, what is the placenta? Like, is it like already in there, or does your body create it? And I was like, that's actually like a feminine created organ.
You actually grow the placenta. I think is
how dope is that?
It's so
I want to
phenomenal.
touch on the body pains, right? So right, because that's an important thing to touch on, because you may think that you're getting old or you slept wrong or something, but once again, sucking energy from other people will manifest. So like if someone sucks energy from you, it will manifest you in on your body the following ways. You see, they don't want me to get the message out. In body pain, right? So back pain, neck pain. You think that you slept wrong.
Them headaches hit different,
and your body hurts. You're like, what the fuck? No, that's someone sucking your energy.
And even being pregnant though, like with the baby sucking your energy, like I was getting the crazy bone pain. My hips were hurting and my teeth were and my jaws were hurting. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I went to the doctor and she was like, well, the baby's sucking all your calcium out. So that's even like mirroring what Dutch is saying, you know what I mean? Like from on the physical 3D level, it makes sense, right? So just imagine.
It will also manifest in ways of depression, anxiety, you feeling worried about things that you shouldn't be worried about.
And then end up manifesting those same things.
Exactly. And then you'll end up manifesting those things, right? It'll also manifest in ways of you feeling inadequate for you in yourself.
I went through that.
I feel like such a loser. No, my G, those aren't your thoughts. Those are projections once again. So how you can astral project the spiritual world, we also know what projections are. Like, like you feel like someone's projecting shit at you that doesn't, you feel what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And so just be aware, okay, that if your body hurts, just do some spiritual maintenance, call back your energy, and shake that shit off.
Especially if you know that there's no reason for it to be hurting. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like if you got something going on, like please go see a doctor. But like if you know, like, you know what I mean? You know the difference.
And explain it. Your energy is off.
That's the highest currency right now. People don't realize that. That's the highest currency right now. When you think about it, what do we do all day? We're looking at a screen, right? First of all, it's called an iPhone, right? Siri backwards is Iris, but I'm gonna leave that one alone too, right? But when you're looking at television, right? you're changing the channel. Like, let's think about 3D to spiritual now. Channeling. You're channeling, right? TV is called what? Programming. You know what I mean? When you think about like movies, what do they say? Somebody was cast in a movie. Why are these words so synonymous? Right? Because it's something that's constantly happening around us all the time. And after a while, it becomes super like subconscious. So you're constantly giving your energy, right? You're constantly giving your energy. For example, whenever a celebrity dies, and I'm doing quotes for my own reasons, when a celebrity dies, what happens, right? Everybody's so sad. You never even met the person. What you sad for? You could be sad like, oh, a life lost, but you never even exchanged energy with that person. When I say you gave them energy, what did they give you? Right? And what happens after that? Now, oh, their merchandise is on sale, right? Energy monetized now. Now all the social RIP hashtag this is all energy harvesting, right? If you can get enough people on the same frequency at the same time and then tap into that shit, you're rich.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
So right now, if you are a light worker, and if you know what that means, you know what it means, right? Chosen one, light worker, light bearer, earth angel, whatever terminology you feel like applies to you. What you have to understand is if you survived last year, that means you are highly protected, right? And when I say survive, I don't just mean in the physical. I'm talking about in every 3, 5, and there's 11D too, but that's a whole nother story. But you're protected on every dimension because last year was the crazy warfare, right? And it's still going on. But the warfare right now, because certain entities have realized that we are not able to be physically touched.
Exactly.
Right? That's the thing. Now that the veil is lifted, right? Our ancestors and spirit team is like, they right there. Oh, and they buck if you buck for real, right? So they realize that they can't get to us physically. They tried doing it through family members. The entities jump from family member to family member. You're like, why is she acting so funny? Friends, well, we figured it out. We just cut the motherfuckers off. Right? Mama, daughter, don't give a fuck. Cut them off. Now it's like, how do we get to this person? Now let's go back to the astral projecting, right? And it doesn't only have to be during your dream state. This can happen pretty much at any time when your chakras are vulnerable, right? So now it's about how do we can't physically harm the person, but how do we make them harm themselves? You get what I'm saying? When you talk about a light worker, that's somebody that they already are privy to certain things, right? But when you're empathic, the person that you're usually least empathic to is yourself, right? So now you start projecting things to that person, especially during the retrograde. That shit gets crazy.
Yeah.
You start thinking about like your failures. You know, that what didn't you do? Why haven't I gotten more? Now your finances is fucked up. They start pulling you into the earthly part. Because that's what that stuff is. That's the root. The finances, the material stuff, all of that. Right? You start thinking all these thoughts. I'm not good enough. Right? I'm inadequate. Because right now it seems like the people that are doing the wrong things and scamming and doing all types, that's who's winning. That's what it looks like. That's also the illusion. So now you're like, I must be doing something wrong. Now when you start questioning that, you're now blocking your connection to the divine because you're not realizing how blessed you really are because you're focusing on the wrong things. Once they get you on that frequency, that's all they need. They don't have to touch you anymore.
So what do you do?
We're so powerful that even our lower vibrations are powerful. You get what I'm saying? We're going to vibrate like this no matter what frequency that we're on. If we're on a love light frequency, it's going to vibrate high. Yes.
Exactly.
But if we are low, it's still going to be vibrating high. And that's still energy no matter what.
Exactly.
They can tap into that.
Guilt and shame.
Those are the two things.
The two lowest vibrational emotions out there,
Not being
y'all.
able to forgive
Guilt
yourself.
and shame. Those are the two lowest vibrations. The highest vibration is love, y'all.
Mhm.
You have to understand it's all about frequency. If you're feeling bad for yourself, guilty, shame, why didn't I do this? Why aren't I here? I should have. Come on. That's the point of these energy vampires, to keep you vibing low, my G. You're still alive. You're breathing. You're here. Pull yourself out of it.
Yeah.
Wake
What
up.
were you saying, Ray? I'm sorry.
No, you answered it. You
Oh,
answered
okay.
it.
You're gonna see
Yeah.
a lot of. I told you last year there's a lot of suicides, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of murder suicides, a lot of attacking on the divine feminine energy. How many reports you see now about a man that killed a woman because she didn't want to talk to him? A husband that killed a wife because she wanted a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Not only killing her, killing the kids too. Fuck everybody.
Right. Right.
And then killing themselves. That shit is not normal. Right? And that's the thing. When you are full of light, you can't be possessed. In order to be possessed, you have to be empty. They need you to be as empty as possible and as low vibing as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So if they can pull you down and pull that vibration down,
Exactly.
naturally, then guess what?
You will not. I'm telling y'all right now. Everyone that's watching this live right now, and everyone who's going to watch this live, y'all ain't taking us. It's a dub over here. It's a dub on all four of these divine feminine right here. It's a dub.
Reset avocado. Avocado. She said avocado.
Avocado.
Okay.
But I will say I fully received that. Let's acknowledge that.
I mean, that's why I said what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say. Now it's deep out here, y'all. It's not for play no more. It never really was, but it's definitely not now.
Yeah.
Protect your energy it has a whole different meaning right now. Every single part of it. You ready for your
y'all. Yeah, we are about to take a break right now. We'll be back in a minute. Bye.
If you can feel what I am feeling, then the truth is just believing. You're my diamond girl. If you can feel what I am feeling, then the truth is just believing. You're my diamond girl. Ooh, oh, diamond girl. You're my diamond girl. Ooh, oh, diamond girl. Diamond girl, you make me feel like I'm on fire when you are near. You captivate me with your smile. Girl, you make me get so wild. Ooh, oh, diamond girl. Yes. You're my diamond girl. Ooh, oh, diamond girl. Yes. You're my diamond girl. Diamond girl, I like to know if I am getting near your door, which will only make me want you more.
Ooh, I feel I'm coming through your door. Ooh, oh, diamond girl. You're my diamond girl. Ooh, oh, diamond girl. You're my diamond girl. You can feel what I am feeling, then the truth is just believing. You're my diamond girl. Ooh, oh, diamond girl.
You fit right on my finger. I'm so proud to have me in you. She's true and true. And you kiss. You fit right on my finger. I'm so proud to have me in you. She's true and true. And you kiss.
Diamond girl, where we go wrong? The love I felt was all alone. Why did you have to leave so soon? I feel so lonely without you. You can feel what I am feeling.
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah.
Ray is so cute.
Ray was astral projecting. She was practicing.
Ray was astral projecting. Ray was on the dance floor.
I was up here, diamond girl. You're my diamond girl.
Yeah. I love that. I love those sound effects.
Ooh.
Right?
I love it. Shout out to freestyle music, right?
Right.
Anyway, so what were we talking about?
I got prego brain.
I mean, you was just letting the haters know, basically.
Yeah.
Oh,
That we not up for sale.
well, that was So prego brain, right? So is that a real thing? Because
They claim it's not, but I've had 4 kids and it's real.
What was the question?
Is prego brain a real thing?
Who said it ain't? Somebody who's never been pregnant?
Scientifically, science is run by white males, so
Yeah, I was gonna say somebody who ain't had a baby.
it's not been proven to
Obviously.
be a thing. But I will be honest and say there's brain cells I've never gotten back from my first pregnancy.
I know that's
Amen.
right.
I did not have these memory issues before them children.
Yeah. So you can tell me
Did
that
not.
my feet are gonna get bigger, I'm gonna get shorter, my nose is gonna spread, but my nuts gonna have to my brain. Like, come on.
I actually remember.
That's a really good point.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
I have a whole nother entity, half of which is foreign to me, inside of me, and nothing happened. My brain didn't respond in no way. No problem.
Yeah, wait, it's not just your nose and all the other stuff. Let's talk about the fact that some women's eyesight changes, never goes back. My vision changed. I had to get a new prescription. Shoe sizes change, and I'm not just talking about just the width.
The length.
Some people, the length actually does change. You can't tell me all of that happens and our brain doesn't get affected.
Right.
And listen, the fact that I could get up off of a couch, walk to the bathroom, wash my hands, and walk out,
And forgot I had to pee.
never use the bathroom. The distance of the couch to the bathroom, y'all. It wasn't even a full hallway. I was in a hotel.
Absolutely.
You are a queen divine feminine. You are
Yes.
special. You are a special being that can carry a baby. So
Yes.
that's amazing. That story.
You are a superhero.
You are.
Yes,
Yeah.
You are.
you are.
Okay, so
Really?
you said pregnancy brain is a real thing. What
Yeah.
about your vagina while you're pregnant? What does it look like? What does it feel like?
What does it look like? Who could answer that? I
Girl,
haven't
who
seen her.
knows?
I haven't seen her since last year. I don't know.
And don't even talk about getting no mirror, because ain't nobody got there. No,
You need like 3 mirrors. Like you need to reflect and refract a couple of times.
No, what
to
you
be able
need
to see it.
is the ones that they have at the hospital that just sit over the bed.
Right, that's
That's
over the
true.
bed. Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
the one. That's the one you need. That was
what
the
I
only time
remember-
during the pregnancy that I saw my vagina.
Yeah, I mean,
Surprisingly, I had a huge belly, but I was still able to see it down there somehow. But from what I remember, it really does get swollen as hell.
I know it does. Your labia,
like-
your labia gets. Remember, it's like
Genuinely cannot answer these questions.
Huge.
it becomes more sensitive.
Yeah.
I know this
Right, I was
because
going to ask, is it more
the
sensitive?
one and only time that I ever got a Brazilian, right? Because when I was pregnant with my son, who's 10, I used to model, and I did pregnancy modeling, and I was doing a boudoir shoot, right?
Ooh.
And I was like, oh man, I need to like take care down there. So, but I couldn't like see it to do it. And who wants to be playing around with a razor and shit down there? Just,
Exactly.
just hacking away. And I remember that's when Groupon work first kind of like popped off. And I was like, oh, Groupon, Brazilian, let me go try it out. This was before I became a scientist. I was in school to become one. So
Shit.
it's embarrassing to like not know what I'm about to say was gonna happen. But I went there and I totally forgot. Like when you're pregnant, your skin is a little thinner and way more sensitive, way more blood flowing through your body, all of that. It was an experience.
And it's your first time?
It was my first time. I've never done it again.
Ooh, yeah.
Ever.
No.
So you're saying it was more painful? Did you
I can't even say more because I never had one. But I'm saying if that's the type of pain that happens, I want no parts of it at all.
You were super sensitive, so I'm gonna say that's not the normal pain.
I don't ever want to find out.
It isn't. I was about to say it really isn't the normal.
No, that's not the normal.
But even like
Speaking of Brazilian, just real quick, shout out to Petal Candace, and she's also the pretty esthetician on Instagram.
I think I follow that person.
Yeah, so she is my travel esthetician. She came through today. She got your girl right. She did the underarm. She did a full Brazilian. This is sugar, not wax.
Can you break that down for me? Because I hear a lot of Black women talking about sugar.
Yeah. So it's called sugaring, and it is all natural. It is sugar, lemon juice, and water. That's
Okay,
it.
that makes sense scientifically.
And it's mixed together. It looks like a brown paste. And she takes it out of her jar. Well, she warms it, and it looks like wax, but it's not. And she just puts it on the skin and then pulls it back, basically. And it takes the skin out. I've been
You said the
getting,
skin?
I mean, not the skin.
Hey. Ooh, if y'all not on YouTube, y'all got.
Ooh. Well,
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So I have a question. I had my own traumatizing experience with my very first Brazilian, and stupid. I probably shouldn't have got my very first one with a person that couldn't speak English. I was deployed. Why not? But I mean, my thing was this: if it looked messed up, at least I was deployed. I wasn't gonna see him for another 2.5 months. So
that's what you was worried about? I'm worried about parts missing and
well, I was just there's little did I know there was reason for concern. because the way that they did the wax, you know how they'll do the wax for your eyebrows with the paper. Well, they tried to do the rip away for my Brazilian instead of the strips, because everyone else that would come through had finer hair. So the rip away wax works just fine. That doesn't work as well. And
that's
y'all,
bleeding.
I was bleeding.
I literally just said it. I knew it.
I was bleeding. It was like she stopped like halfway through and was like, no. Condo lady. I got concerned when she pulled out the razor blade. So sis did her thing. She got everything off, did her thing, fixed it, and like she immediately went to the front because it's like they have a little salon for us on the base, right? And I don't even think the woman's supposed to be doing waxing and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to just stick to your eyebrows, but they do it anyway.
Oh, you did it anyway.
I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be sticking to like just giving us haircuts and the usual stuff, but whatever. But she went to the front, got one of the other girls, and she got her to explain it to me that if I ever did it again, I had to make sure they used plenty of wax, and I had to make sure I got the ones with the strips. So my concern is I want to try sugaring, but I'm worried about the two in comparison. Like, is this the same method as the wax, or is this better?
Okay.
Way better.
I am so sorry you experienced that. That's very traumatic. Very traumatic.
Well, no, honestly, it was fine because I continued after that. I didn't stop there.
That is traumatic. That
is traumatic to hear.
Yeah, to have your skin ripped, bleeding, right? That's traumatic. Sugaring is nothing like that. There's no wax, there's no strip, there's nothing. And it's just the sugar that slides on and
the lemon juice too. I mean, that sounds like a good combination.
It is
because it also keeps the pH of the skin.
Yeah,
right. It doesn't rip the skin. There's no bleeding or anything like that because it's so natural. The lemon, the sugar, it seeps into your skin and it works with your hair and so it gently comes out. I've been doing it for over a year steadily. My pigment has changed. Definitely from using razors. Around my bikini, my ingrowns are basically non-existent. I exfoliate. Thank you, Petal, for teaching me the way. I definitely recommend it. So if you're in the New York City area, even Long Island, Suffolk County, Petal is a traveling esthetician. She came to my home today with her beautiful pink table and her setup. Her gloves. As I toasted with my white wine, she toasted with her ginger ale. I was able to, smoke my joint in the comfort of my home. You know what I mean? My puppies are here. We were playing Sade. It's an experience. You understand? I didn't have to go out in the cold. This is luxury. You feel me? So if you want a luxury experience in the comfort of your own home and you want to look and the best part, she's got a Valentine's Day sale going on, y'all. And you get a goodie bag too. It's so cute.
We love a sale.
There's chocolate in it. Thank you, Petal. So listen, hit up my girl, Petal Candace. That's her Instagram handle. And I mean, she'll give you the works.
Literally a walking advertisement you are.
Word. You need to give everyone free.
Right. That has earned you a free sugaring.
Well, thank you for the education.
No, but I will say, Ree, though, I fully agree with what Dutch said. Like the sugaring, I've done both. I still prefer wax because the wax lasts longer. When at least for the Brazilian, I like just regular wax. For my armpits and all other areas, sugaring, because that's not the horse's hairs. And so you can do sugaring on your own. Like once you learn it, it's a process. But they actually have kits that you can buy or you can make it yourself.
That's what I was thinking.
So it's something you literally can make on your own. So I love sugaring. I really do. It once you get the technique down, because it's kind of like a, I don't want to say putty, but it's like taffy, exactly. Yeah, it's very taffy kind of looking, and so it does still react like a wax. So you're still having to do that pull, but it's not ripping like what the wax does. The wax is like damn near pulling out your follicles.
Oh,
that's hard for like people of color, because our follicles are not like other people.
No,
and that's what happened when she was doing the wax.
That's why you're gonna get that bleeding.
Technique. Yeah,
they're like the Caucasian and like the straighter haired people. Their follicles are like perfectly round. I don't mean to do that sign on camera. That's not what I meant to do. But it's perfectly round. Okay.
Yes.
Ours is like this. It's oblong.
Mm-hmm.
So if the hair is like pulled this, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not. It has to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was why I was saying I should have known better. I didn't have the woman is from Kyrgyzstan. She barely even seen black people ever in her life. I should not have ever.
You probably traumatized her too. She probably was like,
yeah, you know, this? Honestly, at the end of it, I'm sitting there like, it's okay, thank you, I appreciate it. She I'm telling you, it was wild. It was wild. She was so bad. She was like, I helped shave. Y'all, when she pulled out that, I legit, and that's why I say, I get what y'all saying as far as the waxing part. Yes, it's traumatizing. I was honestly okay. It was when she pulled out the razor, she was like, I help. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's not that deep. I got some bigs in the room.
Yeah,
like,
wrap it up. Gotta go.
Get out of here, sis. Get out of here.
I'm like, look, just help me around the edges, get the wax back up, like clean it up, and I'll take care of the rest when I get back to the room.
That's the other good thing about sugaring is that if you get it stuck, like if you try to do it yourself and you get stuck, you can't get it off, because the whole ripping part is kind of like, you ripping your own hair out is hard to do. So if you get stuck, all you gotta do is put water on it and it kind of dissolves it. So yeah, you can't do that with wax. I know from experience.
I've tried. I had one of those at-home kits, and I just left it there. I was like, maybe it'll fall off one day. I waited till the hair came back and cut it, to be quite honest.
Yeah, well, I did the worst because I got in water. I was like, let me wash it off.
No.
Oh, God. It clumped up like... The wax was like, oh, thank you.
And tighter.
Oh, God, yeah.
These are the things we go through.
Question. So another while pregnant, manifesting while pregnant.
It's amazing. It is. It's different. And I try it out all the time. I don't even know how to explain it. Because in order to manifest, and a lot of these attacks that we were talking about before, the attacks are on, especially when it comes to the feminine energy, is on the solar plexus and the sacral, right? Solar, I mean, they do the crown too, but for the most part, when you can like, those are not my thoughts, right? And you're good. But when they attack your confidence space and your creative space, that usually ends up interfering with your financial space and your stability, right? And so the beauty about being pregnant is that you are fully creating, like in your sleep, like 24/7 all the time. So even when you get thrown off a little bit, there's always that reminder that you are a creator, right? And that's the thing with manifesting. We might write stuff down, but it's the belief and the knowing of who we are that really is like the juice for manifesting, right? Like, I manifest money, but in your back of your head, you're like, I manifest 100,000. God is like, and I was gonna give you 1 million. You know what I mean? Like, we're still limited in certain spaces. But I would say that being pregnant, it's like you can't deny your ability to create and co-create with the divine, because that's what you're doing when you're pregnant, right? Yeah, it's a partner, but it's also like you and God are co-creating this new entity, right? Because God is who's responsible for placing the energy, right? Like the DNA and all that good stuff, you and your partner work on, but the energy of what spirit is getting reincarnated into that physical space, who does that? The divine. So you're technically co-creating with the divine already. And so now it's like, well, we could create a baby, right? What else can we create, right? But I will say that, my confidence has been shaken a lot in this pregnancy, right? And I had to, and it took me a couple of months actually to just kind of like ground myself.
What level of confidence?
Just it's that shame and guilt, right? Prior to this pregnancy, I shared on one of the previous shows that I had a different partner, and it was a pretty toxic type of relationship. A lot of trauma bonding. I would definitely identify that as my karmic soulmate. And I had 3 miscarriages within 9 months with that person. And so that really was an attack on my sacral space, right? It was like, I can't create. And I've been a mother since I was 17 and a half, right? That's something I pride myself on. I'm not somebody that loses babies, and not to knock anybody that it's just something that I've never had an issue with. So for it to happen 3 times back to back, and the kind of miscarriage it was a blighted ovum, which means that there's a pregnancy, ain't no baby, which is a kind of weird concept to even think about.
What?
Right? There's like a pregnancy, like you're pregnant, but there's no baby. There's no actual baby growing, but your body, right, is pregnant. Right. And the doctor said that that's like a once in a lifetime occurrence for a woman. Sometimes it happens, you don't even know it because you end up just getting your period and you never even know you were pregnant, right? But for it to happen to somebody 3 times back to back, it's kind of like unheard of. So I started thinking something was wrong with me, right? And that's where you understand the connection between creativity as we know it, with like creating projects and businesses and all of that, with that the fertility of creating an actual another person, the connection, because it affected me. And that's really the reason why I did yoga. I didn't do yoga because I really wanted to do yoga per se. I wanted to finish something and prove to myself that I could, right? It was through yoga that I started learning more about the chakras, and I started understanding more, and I was able to accomplish finishing something, but also learning more about myself and kind of like how the universe works as far as being a divine feminine. But it was rough. And so when I got pregnant, you partner, but if you already think something's wrong with you, right, that carries over.
Sure.
And so when I became pregnant, it was like a blockage of want to get excited, but you have these memories, right? Your womb holds memory. And every time you get pregnant, you remember every other time you were pregnant. It's like, at least I do, right? It's like it activates all of those other emotions that you felt all those times, right? So the shame and the guilt that was attached to certain things, I didn't let go of. I realized I had to let go of it. And so it was blocking my ability to create in other spaces, right? Like my regular, making my products and, designing stuff, connecting with other women, because a lot of the women I work with is for womb wellness. How am I going to connect with you if I am not well myself?
Yeah.
So it took me some time to, as I grew, right? And every you get out the first trimester, it's like, all right, the chance of miscarriage is lower, but then other stuff could happen, So then it's like the constant anxiety all the time. That was a crazy block for me. And yes, sometimes, like I said, it's other people that might be projecting onto you. But sometimes it's your past selves too, pulling you back. Don't be happy, sis. Remember last time you got happy. You always get disappointed. You know what I mean? It's like this thing, in your head all the time that's constantly saying stuff. And so I would say it was not probably till I hit 20 weeks. 2021, when I started to feel the movement. Because it's when you're pregnant and it's like, oh, you're growing and all that stuff, you're pregnant. But when you feel the movement, right, it's a different feeling. That's the solidity. That's the solidity. That's the solid piece of it. For sure. right? You know for sure.
Baby in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as you get bigger and you start pushing on your stomach, the baby's kicking back and responding to you and all this other stuff. It's like, it's that connection there. And so every new day, it was kind of like, all right, it's happening. It's okay. You can be happy. You've earned it. There's nothing wrong with you. Your womb is not broken. That it was just not that connection just wasn't fertile. Right?
How do you like, you know how the whole thought process of when you're pregnant, you really want to be in a positive mental space, a positive physical space, like all parts of you should be in a positive realm, because whatever you are experiencing, your baby, the fetus is also experiencing. So how, like, what are your thoughts around that? Like, do you believe that to be true?
I know it to be true.
Right.
I know it to be true. At the same time, though, like, you have to remember that.
Talk about that.
You got to give yourself grace too. What the hell? Who the hell got peaches and creams every day?
Hello.
Whoa!
It's not real.
That's not a real thing. I mean,
No.
they might show it on the commercials and shit, but let's keep it real.
Right.
You got all these emotions and hormones floating through you. Your perception is based on, hormones.
Moment to moment.
Moment to moment. 1 minute you crying. I cried one time because my freaking bagel fell on the wrong side. Like, you eating it, it just fell. Cream cheese down. That was devastating.
Why would you do that to me?
God.
Bagel.
I really wanted it.
Right.
No, you got to give yourself grace, because guess what? That's not reality. Right? So it's okay for that baby to experience things. Just like when you have your children in real life, I'm not the mother that hides my emotions from my children. I mean, like, appropriately so, yes.
Sure.
But if I'm sad, mommy's sad today. Because it gives them permission to feel those same emotions as well.
Right.
That they don't have to be perfect.
Exactly.
Right? I've cried, I cried in front of my children. And they say, Mommy, what's wrong? And I'm like, Mommy's sad. I might not tell them why, because it might not be there, it's not appropriate sometimes. Right? But I tell them that I'm sad, and they might sit and cry with me. Or they might be the one to pull me out of it.
Yeah.
Usha's good for that.
Oh,
She reminds me who I am.
I love
So, and it was really her that helped me really reconnect to my womb space too, because I was telling Dutch that when she was about 2, she told me that she remembered being in the womb, right? And she said that, Mommy, you have a golden flower in your womb, right? And she said that God allowed her to choose her mother, but she said she didn't see faces. She said when she met with God, I want to know all about it. But when she met with God, all she saw was the wombs. But she explained it in her own way. I had to kind of extrapolate what she was saying, because she was only 2. But she could see the wombs of different women. And she said some women had purple wombs, some women had blue wombs, some people had green wombs, but you were the only one that had a golden womb. So I knew that you were the one that I was supposed to be with. Right? And she said, when I was inside of you, I used to play with the golden flower. She was only 2. Right? I used to play with the golden flower. It's what helped me feel safe. I got my food from it. It talked to me. Like, whenever I was scared, it would say, everything's going to be all right. She remembers being born. And her story is very accurate, because the things that she said happened really is what happened when she came out. Right? And so fast forward now, I bring back a sonogram, and the sonogram is a 4D sonogram, right, of the baby. One time you got to catch a little piece of his face, because this dude is mysterious. He's like, you gonna catch when I come out. Like, stop trying to find me, right? So we get like this 4D, and it's like a little piece of his face. And this baby doesn't leave the placenta. That's why they never could see his face, because the placenta's here, here's his face. All you get is this. You don't get this.
That's true.
Right? He lays on it like a pillow, all of that. And as soon as Usha saw the sonogram, she said, oh, Mommy, that's the golden flower. She was talking about the placenta. And I sent Dutch the picture. But in the picture, it was golden too. I mean, obviously it's because of the way that they, the lighting and all of that. But she said, that's the golden flower. And it made so much sense to me. She was talking about the placenta.
Well, yeah, that's where you get everything, all your nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's what I was thinking of when she said she played with it, she gave her food.
She said, Mommy, I used to lay on that too. That's where I got comfort from, because I was scared in there too. Like, because we don't know about the emotions that they're, come on, I can't even imagine. Right? And so she reminded me, she said, remember, Mommy, you were the only one with the golden womb. The only one with the golden flower. And I had to remind myself of that. Right?
That's powerful, my G.
That's amazing.
That
gave me chills.
Yeah.
That is breathtaking to me. Usha is.
Yeah, I send Dutch the videos all the time of like certain things that she says and whatnot.
Usha is
So whenever I get into those little spaces, one of the things, especially while I'm pregnant now, is that she reminds me, you keep Mommy, no matter what happens, you carry the golden flower. That makes you special. Right?
So what's her connection with the baby? Like, does she have any type of...
very
I'm
much
sure
so.
There's an emotional connection, but I would think because she has that ability to see...
Yeah, she tells me that he's okay. Like, before he could move, remember I told you, like, it wasn't until I got to like 20 weeks when I was kind of like, all right, everything is good, because I could feel him. She used to, whenever she saw me in a certain space, she would be like, you worried about the baby, Mommy? And I would be like, a little bit. And she would put her head on my stomach and she'd be like, he said he's fine. He's just hungry. Yeah. But everybody in the household has like a very strong connection with the baby. Even more so his dad. Like they communicate. Like he'll be like talking to him and he'll respond. Whenever he puts his palm on my stomach, he'll try to curl up like into his hand. Yeah. So it's a different experience for me. I wasn't even really talking to none of my baby daddies at this point in any of my other pregnancies. I don't know that feeling of, you know what I mean? Like togetherness, that type of pregnant intimacy, and like having somebody like really
now.
Until now, exactly. You know it now.
And it's a different feeling because you feel the love, like you feel the connection.
Yeah.
And I've never met somebody that was so excited to be a dad, like to have their first son. So it makes me happy that I can bestow that, Yeah. And even that's powerful in and of itself, is that you technically are immortalizing somebody by carrying their seed. You know what I mean? Like, especially when it's a boy.
Say that.
You immortalize them. Their lineage is now immortalized, right?
Wow.
So this has been a beautiful experience.
I always knew that my daughter was going to have a special connection with her father, because I remember we went to go get that 4D ultrasound. That's the special one.
Right.
And they had, how you see it, they have the camera on your stomach and you're looking at the screen. And every time my husband spoke, her head would turn in the direction he was speaking. I was like, oh my God, that was the coolest. I have the video somewhere. If I find it, I'll have to send it to you guys. But it was crazy, like every single time. Because I was like, there's no way. So he would do it and then stop and do it again. Same thing.
They know.
They do. From womb. And we carry the experience first as the women. So it's so amazing when the father, who really has no connection outside of, oh, hey, this woman who I love is carrying my child. They don't have a real, true emotional connection until the baby is really here. And so it's really amazing, in my opinion, when you see fathers that can still tap into that shit without having what we have, which is that immediate connection.
Well, he knew I was pregnant before I was pregnant.
Yeah.
He knew, even like the conception part, like it was like a really intense type of.
Oh,
It was a very intense kind of situation.
tell us.
Moment in
fact,
time.
You know what? We were watching. What show is it? I think Snowfall. Snowfall, and the same thing got played out in there. So in there's this like guy. I think his name is Franklin, and he's like a drug dealer. This talks about how the CIA brought drugs into the black neighborhoods using black drug dealers and stuff, right? So he was working with the CIA. They were giving him drugs to put in the neighborhoods, and he was making money from it, right? And so he had this girlfriend. She was like more spiritual, right? Like he was like the and she was like the spiritual one. And she was talking about chakras, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, this is wild. This is like us. This is so crazy. And then she ends up getting pregnant. And one of the things that they said on the show was like, they were like communicating, and they were like, she was like, I knew I was going to get knocked up because when the conception happened, we climaxed at the same time, right? Like that shit is like, that's powerful. That shit is powerful.
That's already powerful.
It don't get that's some deep like co-creation, type of situation. But his connection has always been sometimes even stronger than mine. Like he had the symptoms, the nausea, the just like every symptom you could think of, he had it.
Yeah.
And it's weird, like we mirror each other in that way. Like whenever my hip was hurting, the next week after that, his hip started hurting. Right. The other day I was like, my vagina hurt, because that's a thing too. Lightning cross is a thing.
Oh, miss that shit. Oh God.
And it sounds like what it is.
It is.
What do you mean lightning crotch?
Think about lightning. Think about your crotch. Think about what it would feel like if lightning hit your
Flashes of
crotch.
fucking pain.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah,
Just
literally.
like that.
Unexpected. I would be at work and be like,
Okay, wait, pause.
like clench, like
Random. So Tamykah, you probably have heard of this before. I had endometriosis. So the lightning pain that they talk about, that's really common in women who have endometriosis, right? That's the only reason I
have adenomyosis.
Okay. So my question is this though. I'm trying to figure out how common is that amongst women who don't have.
Oh, very, very.
It is? Okay.
I don't have any.
Because I had never heard other women really talk about it. My daughter mentioned it last week, and it's just one of those things in the back of my head. I'm like, I don't want to. Both of my daughters dread ever finding out they have endometriosis because they got to see me.
Yeah, no, that's
so when she made, when she made that comment about the lightning pain, I was like,
no, because it
usually, but everything with hers is usually normal, so that's why I kind of like
as the baby gets heavier, right? It's pushing down like on your cervix, in your pelvis,
which makes sense.
And we have nerves everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And so any little movement, like any little movement results in different types of pain, right?
It does.
His head bopping up and down on your freaking bladder. Like that hurt. The ribs, my ribs, getting kicked in the ribs.
My daughter used to put her toes through her rib cage.
Right. It's not.
She would stick her toes in between my lowest ribs.
Oh my God.
My oldest daughter, my belly was always lopsided.
I could feel his fingernails.
She would curve her back to this side, and she would put her foot. When she first started to do it, I could tell she was stretching because I could feel my breath.
Every time he wakes up, he does the same thing. He stretches out. So arms out, legs out.
My daughter stretched up like this. So when I remember playing cards. I was like,
and you can see it. You can see it like on your I can like hold.
Oh yeah,
foot.
You can see it.
Push up. The toes were where the creep. I think those creeped my ex-husband out the most because you could see them.
Oh yeah, you see the whole foot like
push up into your rib cage. It's interesting.
It's actually very fascinating.
Yeah.
Speaking of pregnancy, let's briefly talk about the Eve gene. We can go down a huge rabbit hole, but the Eve gene.
I feel like I need my weed
You
Yeah.
might.
I've been
I
waiting.
mean, so we know that the story of Adam and Eve, right? So that's why they call it the Eve gene. The Eve gene is supposed to be, or the Eve woman is supposed to be the oldest ancestor maternally, like female, that they can trace it back to. Now, it gets a little funny because I think they were only able to trace it back 20,000 years. So it's not that she's our oldest ancestor. She's the furthest back they can trace for a particular lineage. Because remember, genes mutate, right? Mm-hmm. So the reason why they call it the Eve gene too is because in our cells, like we have cells all over our body. People talk about the nucleus. People talk about the chloroplast and all this other stuff. Inside of our cell is something called a mitochondria. Now, the mitochondria has its own DNA, right? So you have your regular DNA, like you get 50% from your dad, 50% from your mom, bring it together, boom, DNA. But the mitochondria has its own DNA, and you only get that from your mother, right? Which it's kind of weird they called it the Eve gene too, now that I think about it, because when they say Adam came first, that don't make sense now, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense at all, actually.
And
but,
even when you do that, like tracing of your DNA, it goes through your mother's line, because that's the longer lineage that you can follow.
And when we think about the mitochondria too, they think that the mitochondria, scientists think that the mitochondria was a separate thing before, meaning like maybe it was like a one-celled organism before it got into the cell, right? So that's why it has its own DNA, because it's the only structure within the cell that has different DNA than the actual cell itself, and it only comes from the mom. And I think it can like trace back like 10,000 years without being any mutation. So I feel like the regular DNA is more easy to be, have mutations, because obviously it's coming from two different sides, but they can trace the maternal line back further because it tends to stay intact over centuries, right? Yeah. So when we think about that, obviously like dope as shit, right?
Obviously.
Because you have something inside of you, everyone has something inside of them that they only got from their mom. Right? That doesn't apply to dad, right? And when you talk about, they use it in forensics to like hair follicles and whatnot. They try to pull the mitochondria. People use it for ancestry to trace their maternal lineage. But how powerful is that though? Because the mitochondria's job, right, is to turn food, glucose or whatever that comes into the cell, into energy, which is called ATP, adenosine triphosphine or some crap like that. And that is what powers all of the processes that we have that our body does, right? Every single thing that we do in the body usually comes from us having the energy from ATP. ATP is made in the mitochondria. They call the mitochondria the powerhouse of the cell, right? So there's a lot of things you can unpack there.
You only get that from women, so I mean,
right?
And you only get it from women,
right?
Obviously,
So it's not something that I'm like super well versed on per se. It's supposedly a theory, right? There were 3 scientists, I don't remember their names, but they're the ones that kind of like discovered it and created this theory, and people have been studying it ever since. But I believe that they were only able to trace that particular woman, right, back 20,000 years. But we know that we lived way before that as well. So it's not that was the first. Some people think that the Eve gene means that was like Eve, like the first ever woman. That's not it. It's the furthest back line that they can trace maternally. So I think they called it like L1 or something like that. But guess what? They found it in Africa. Africa, you know, and they traced it back to a certain place in Africa as well. What does that mean? It can mean many things, right? That's a rabbit hole we could go down for centuries.
What we've been saying all along anyway. But anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
give me two things that means.
That means that women are dope as shit and we're the creators of everything.
There you go.
And it's not, that ain't no feminism. That ain't
melanated people.
Yeah. I mean, and the black woman holds, I forgot how they worded it, but like the black woman holds like the oldest, you know, because what they do is I think they call it MT DNA, like mitochondrial DNA. Black women tend to have, especially black women in certain places, right, tend to have more of that particular DNA. And then what they started doing was they started tracing from like that first woman or that first, you know, piece of mitochondrial DNA, and they started tracing it throughout the world. But they found more instances of the original like mitochondrial DNA in Africa. Yeah, and like I said, this is not like my field of study per se. This is like more like my hobby study. Mm-hmm. But I think like an important distinction is not that the Eve gene is, or the Eve woman or whatever that's, you know, however they word it, is supposed to be the first woman ever, whatever. It's the first one that they could trace all of us back to. That doesn't mean that there weren't any before. We know that there were before that because we've been here more than 20,000 years, right? But as far as science is able to trace that back, I believe it's 20,000 years.
Scientifically and factually speaking.
Yes. I mean, and that's the thing though, when they talk about, you know, religion and Adam and how Eve came from Adam's rib and stuff, I've never subscribed to that per se, because when a fetus, embryo, right, when it's conceived, from the time of conception until about 6 weeks, everybody is female, right? Everybody.
Right. Yep.
Every single person. That's why when men, like, you know, get all extra and stuff, they want to grab their balls. I'm like, that's just your labia that just, you know.
I mean, really, it is. It just did a couple of developments.
Yeah. Like, people think that the clitoris is what they see and that's it. The clitoris is like a huge thing that's underneath. So, like, technically, my dick is bigger than yours in a lot of cases, right?
I mean,
and
that deserves a year bomb.
Yes, please. Please, that deserves a year bomb.
That was amazing.
I can't wait to use that shit.
Let's show everybody our charts. Let's get into these horoscopes. Thank you for that conversation.
Yeah, but I think we should all like. I think it'll be interesting for you all to like just look it up more and look deeper. It's a lot there, right? And you can pull from it what you need to pull from it. But at the end of the day, I think it just accentuates the fact that the divine feminine is
a real
powerful
thing.
Yeah, and while you're at it, look up Mary Magdalene too, because I believe that's the true Eve gene. For another conversation. That's a good
conversation. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I rocks with Mary Magdalene. Just throwing it out there.
Hey y'all! Time for the horoscope. Oh wait, gotta put the charts up there.
I feel like I'm on the water line.
Oh yeah, you took it back to the military.
Nah, I'm just saying I'm thirsty as hell, but I'm sick of water.
Don't be. You need it. Everything is about water. Water is the conduit for everything. That's why, because not only is
I need more of it.
Think about not only is the placenta created by the woman, the amniotic fluid that the baby is in, we literally create that too. Everything is about water. Everything is about water.
Hey, Aries and Aries rising. Well, first of all, thank you so much to thechainynicholas.com. We love you so much. And let's see what the cosmos got going on this week, y'all, or today. So, hey, Aries and Aries rising. As Venus enters Pisces today, the slipstreams of your inner realm are longing to be explored. The more you can shut out the noise, notifications, and stressors of the outer world, the more pearls will be revealed inside. Your guides, dreams, memories, even ripples from the collective unconscious will meet you like long lost loves. But it's up to you to clear time and space for your solitude. Stock up on the earplugs or eye masks that help you tune out the distractions. Tune
I like it.
How's that hitting?
I can use that.
Oh yeah.
Something about
That
that
was a
eye mask. So lovely.
It does. I love a good eye mask.
That was a lot to digest.
Yes. However, as an Aries moon, I could relate to it. I understood it. I did. I got it.
Ooh, Taurus, that's
It's
you,
you.
Tamykah. All right, let's see what we got. Taurus.
Tell me I'm having a baby tomorrow. Sorry.
Over it.
Taurus and Taurus rising. As Venus enters Pisces today, you'll want to rally the poets, seekers, and last great romantics. Those who swim in the woo waters as you. Whether it's an online astrology conference or a zombie flash mob, your combined imaginative power will awaken new desires within you. It might even dislodge a dream you didn't realize you had. As boundaries are extra permeable now, just make sure you've clocked your exits and can leave as soon as energy shifts in a direction you're not totally jazzed with.
Makes too much sense.
We were
There
just
goes those
talking
dreams.
about energy, dreams.
Talk about the veil lifting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's real.
I received that.
Me, Gemini, and
Something that's happening with them Geminis.
I'm a Gemini moon, so
My son is tweaking. So
Really?
let me know.
okay. Well, let's get into it. Well, I'm not tweaking, so
He's a cusper. He's a Gemini Cancer cusper.
oh, got it. Okay, so let's see. As Venus enters Pisces today, it's time to trust the professional opportunities and paths that simply flow. The vocation that makes your heart tingle, or the collective offerings that connect you to something that feels transcendent. With your charisma dialed up to max, you weave quite a mesmerizing rising spell. Excuse me. Especially if you infuse artistry or even a bit of mystery into your public works. This energy brings out your inner shapeshifter too. So make that professional pivot in a puff of smoke or pull that rabbit out of the hat. For the next few weeks, you have the gift of divine timing. Who ever seen that?
Sound like he about to wild out. For like
I know that's what I'm
I'm over here reading along as Dutch is doing it, and I'm trying not to giggle too hard because I'm like, "Ooh, Tamykah."
It's gonna be a rough patch. No worries.
Have fun.
I sure will.
Buckle up.
I'm gonna see what the cancer book says so I can like mix it together because he's right on the cusp.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Cancer and Cancer rising. The siren song of life's mysteries and loftier pursuits is impossible to ignore as Venus enters Pisces today. The pursuit of wisdom can be as intoxicating as chasing a lover. So trust the TED Talk, esoteric tone, or spiritual teachings that leave your heart aflutter. You can further honor this moment by making your desk, book nook, or dorm room as comfortable as possible. Soft lighting, cashmere throws, water lilies, and oil diffuser. You'll want to be cozy as you're plunging the depths of ancient wisdom or astrophysics.
These are like real ethereal today.
For real.
Deep. Okay? They knew what was happening today when Tamykah was coming on the show. They knew that we needed some deep horoscope.
Yes. They said none of this shallow shit. We got depth. Okay? Fuck.
You always gotta bring the heavy hitters. Never the light word.
Never light word. Never.
I want to definitely hear Leo now.
Let's go, Leo! We got Leos in the crew. We got Leos in the
As always.
Too many.
Leo gang. Big Leo gang here. Leo rising. I think you might see Leo sun sisters. Do you have Leo in your chart, Tamykah?
It's somewhere.
Okay.
It's somewhere.
Too.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I don't remember which, part
That's
it's at.
like she's still gang.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Leo and Leo rising. As Venus enters Pisces today, your trust in the abundance of the universe will swell like the tides themselves. This support was always there. Endless sand dollars washing up on your shores. But what changed is your willingness to go beachcombing, to meet the universe halfway. In the coming weeks, cast your nets wide when it comes to the artists, loans, grants, trusts, and stipends that will support your creative dreams. You might be surprised by what effortlessly flows in your direction when you simply ask.
Well,
yeah, I might need to let that one marinate for a little bit.
Yeah.
I love that. I love everything about that. Like a whole bunch of opportunity and money just flowing the fuck in. And I am ready and willing and thank you and so grateful.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Is that what y'all heard?
I'll receive that for sure. I definitely heard though, like asking for help and
I've been asking.
And see, I'll say I have not been. So that's why I'm like, I kind of get it. But then again, I feel like, I'm not hesitant to ask for help if I need it. So that's why I was like, I don't know.
Well, that's that fixed stuff though, because Leo, right? Leo is the fixed fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that fixed energy. Maybe it's time to let Pisces loosen you up a little bit.
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to this. I've been talking to my ancestors. I've been talking to the universe. I've been asking. So this definitely makes sense to me. So I received that. Thank you.
What about you, Ree?
Yeah, Ree.
I mean, it's like I've definitely relate to a few pieces. Say what?
I said the child's looking down. Are you okay, boo?
Oh yeah. Parts of it, I'm like Ray. Parts of it, yeah, I get it. Some of it, I could see where it would relate.
Yeah.
Ask for what you want, and you'll get it. That's what it means. Hey, Virgo, and Virgo rising, rounding out your trifecta, Ree.
No,
No, she got one more.
I got one more.
She got Libra.
That's right.
Leo, Virgo, Libra, yeah.
Yeah, she's like,
I'm like, girl, we just getting started.
Hey,
getting
Virgo and Virgo rising. Okay, listen. As Venus enters Pisces today, you're surfing the waves of partnership that flows through many seasons of life. Lovers and collaborators transform into muses in a mutual daydream. Alchemize these feelings into art, poetry, or your most inspired love letter yet. For every person that causes you to swoon, get curious about the qualities they represent. How can you witness the same archetype within yourself? Fall in love with yourself too, and you nurture all your long-lasting unions.
I like that.
I like that too. How you feel about that, Ree?
Let's go to Libra.
I told you, Ree is up.
I knew.
Oh shit, Ree was looking down last one.
no, I think she's reading.
No, she's reading it from her phone.
Yeah, I'm reading too.
Oh, okay.
I think it hit different.
Yeah,
when
no,
you read
She get it audibly and visually. It hit.
Just like maybe I need to choose one or the other.
Yeah. No, these are like Pisces energy. It's like, like just say what you're gonna say.
Yes.
Wow.
It's very
What is all of this like?
Like all this fluff, you know?
Yeah.
Say what you gonna say.
Basically, Ree, you
I'm
need
about
to like
say it right now.
love on yourself more,
Right.
And if you find yourself being attracted to other people, focus more on the thing about them that's
What I was picking up on.
Yeah.
Find it within yourself to love that in yourself before you project it outside.
Projected to
Yeah.
that.
That's what I got.
That's basically all I'm picking up on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's exactly what I got.
Yeah.
Check it. I love that.
They could have just said that.
It's Pisces though. It's all love.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, all right, so let's just be real. We already all know how I feel when they always gotta throw love and couples and all of the other stuff in there. I'm like, everything ain't gotta be about a relationship.
I want to get to the Pisces one. I want to see what they doing in their own shit right now.
Right, because
This is giving Pisces vibes today.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Libra and Libra rising. Okay, listen. As Venus enters Pisces today, it's not how much work you achieve in a day, but the way that your tasks effortlessly flow. Whatever systems or tricks help you context shift, reel them in. If your workspace or cubicle feels a bit drab, introduce your workmates to the office orchid or resident goldfish. Switch out your fluorescent light bulbs for something softer. Finally, if your daily toil isn't steering your imagination, put out feelers for the work that will showcase your artistry and intuition. Trust that this role is dreaming about you too.
You're gonna be broke.
I know, right?
I'm sorry. Yo.
That's how Libras do, though. That's what Libras do. It's
Like
all
this?
about luxury.
I heard get yourself a pet or redesign your office space
Yeah.
and get creative. Get creative. Get in your what is that? Solar plexus, your sacral. Get into all that. Into your creative bag. That's what I heard. Because whatever you really want to do creatively wants you to do it as well.
Mhm.
So just do it and be authentic
Right.
to yourself. Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's what you heard, Ree? Keep it real, Ree.
You want to know what I heard for me personally in my
Oh,
life is it's related to me, just related to the bodybuilding and everything that I've been building up to. And the only reason I say that is just because of the shift that I felt tonight in the gym. Like tonight, I was able to look at myself and was like, all right, this was probably the first night where I was like, yeah, we're gonna get this shit. Let's get this. It clicked tonight. It's been feeling good, but tonight it clicked. And I looked at myself again and I saw a competitor tonight. So
I love that.
yeah, no, it's time for me. And that is the same thing as far as the putting out your feelers and casting your nets. That's where I picked up on stuff like that. I see where it can relate to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Better than that. That's what we're gonna go for.
Exactly. That's exactly
That's
what
Better,
my
you go better your
dog.
best.
I'm talking about. Me
That's my dog.
Talk your shit. That's what I'm
I
talking
can't
about.
even see my vagina right now. It's just like a 9-pack. Like,
Right.
Not the nine.
You know what I'm gonna have to send in one day? I'm gonna have to. Do I have like my biggest? I know that I have somewhere on Instagram my transformation.
Wow.
It was my pregnancy and then what I did in CrossFit, and it was post-pregnancy when I started CrossFit and then when I started bodybuilding. Because it was like a 10-year span.
Wow.
girl,
Now
It
what?
was, honey.
that is my horoscope right there. Looking at that.
Hey, Scorpio. Scorpio
Oh,
rising. Hey, y'all. Listen, as Venus enters Pisces today, it's time to fill your personal cup of sweetness. Whether it's a trip to your local spa or watching the rain trace its patterns on the window pane, only you know your fancies and how they're tickled. Seek out the diversions or delights that steer your imagination today. A bit of playtime could be the perfect muse if you're longing to start a dreamy new art project. And do what you need to do to entice your inner child or water sprite.
That was in line with what you did today. You got your Brazilian and your.
Yes, I
Yes.
was just about to say that. I was like, girl, you fully tapped into your horoscope.
This horoscope is very feminine.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, y'all.
But that's, I mean, Pisces energy is very feminine as well.
You can't go wrong when you tap into yourself and you're authentic to yourself. You can't go wrong. Literally, it's written in the fucking stars. It was written in the stars for me to have my spa experience today, my luxurious spa experience today with Petal, and it's written in the stars. So I mean, fuck, I received that. Thank you. That's all I gotta say.
I can't share that one with the king. He's a Scorpio too. That shit don't even go together with a man right now.
That don't even go together.
You know what I'm saying?
No, they do
This is
not
why I
go
love when
together.
Tamykah comes through.
Yeah, like you can't
That
even
don't even
like.
go
What am I
together.
gonna say? Tap into your art. He gonna be like, oh, we doing it like.
Hey, look, this is
He said that
one of
is
those times
art.
where you gotta take what's for you and then leave the
Leave the
rest.
rest. That's right. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't.
Yeah.
I kind of like these though. Like these are like, it's the same energy. You know, it's basically like tap into yourself.
Yeah.
This is really a lot of like solar plexus, sacral energy. Like
Yeah.
not materialistic. Like not focused so much on productivity in the traditional sense of the word, right? So this is going to be difficult for us earth signs and fixed signs to like perceive. So the Leos are going to be pushing against the Scorpios. Some of the Scorpios might be pushing against, you know, and definitely the earth signs, because this is not necessarily an easy transition for us, because we live a lot in our root, in our crown, right? The middle pieces sometimes is a little bit harder for us. So I understand the vibe right now with Venus and Pisces.
Got it. That Pisces
makes sense.
energy making everybody swim, right? So either swim
Yeah.
or
Right.
swim.
I can't swim, so
Yeah. Exactly.
We gone.
I'm gonna need a lifeboat.
I got you, girl.
Thank you,
I'll
bro.
be right there with you.
That was one of my 2023 goals, is to learn how to swim.
You
And
don't
I
have to
started.
I'm going to sign up for classes, yo.
But you were in the military. That wasn't a requirement.
I was in the
Wait,
Air
Not
hold
for
Force.
on.
her branch.
I worked
But
on
what if you fall
airplanes.
out the plane? What if you fall out
No,
the
I
plane?
put the planes in the air.
From the ground.
I used to tell my mom that all the time. No, like for real. I told my mom, you don't have to worry about it. If I ever get in a situation where they gave me a gun and I'm not on the ground fixing an airplane, we already lost.
Right.
Good to know. Good to know. Well, let's make that happen, ladies.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Let's make
Hey,
The
that
thing
happen.
is,
that's
I
very
know how
That's
to
kind of
swim.
my
I'm
life.
just scared of water, so I got to figure it out. Like,
It's gonna be
I
a
got to
water
get over
year.
fear.
Well, I can
Yeah.
teach you. I can teach you how to swim when I head out that way. All right.
Okay.
Right, Sag and Sag rising. Listen, as Venus enters Pisces today, submerge yourself in the stories, poetry, art, and lullabies that feel like home to you. Read a love poem to your goldfish or furried familiar, and leave an ancestor's favorite pastry on your altar.
These are deep.
Rally,
I
I
know.
know. Rally your roommates for an art making sesh or an impromptu dance party to your most mesmerizing playlist. Those who provide safe harbor through the storms of life. Remember them how much they mean. Remind them how much they mean to you. Then take DJ requests.
This is so Usha.
That's
That was
cute.
definitely Usha. She's been very into poetry lately. She's actually creating her own like poetry affirmation coloring book for young girls to help them
Oh,
become more confident. She wrote all the affirmations herself, like all of that.
I
So
love
she's
it.
that makes sense. How you going to get the Capricorns into this vibe? I want to hear this.
Let's see.
Hey, Capricorn, and Capricorn rising. That's always rising.
Let's see the rigid Capricorn.
I know.
Hey, Cap. So listen, as Venus enters Pisces today, inspiration is coursing through your world. Look, inspiration is coursing through your words, social media transmissions, essays, project needs a sprinkle of fairy dust, you have the ability to weave powerful spells over the next weeks. We know that you're no stranger to hard work, but paired with the divine timing that surrounds you right now, you're unstoppable. Trust your intuition when it comes to the ideas that will mesmerize the masses. And don't be surprised if your posts go viral. Your ideas are contagious right now.
That was a Capricorn.
Yeah.
That was a Capricorn vibe.
Even within that, it was still a very Capricorn.
You are in control.
Yep.
Your intuition.
Yep.
Yes.
Trust yourself. Move with confidence. All that is Capricorn energy.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yes. Huge. Hey Aquarius, and happy Aquarius season, first of all.
We just moved in, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's your birthday today, happy birthday. So, hi Aquarius and Aquarius rising. As Venus enters Pisces today, roll out your rain barrels. Put out every last goblet and vessel you have. In fact, gratitude is the sturdiest container you possess. So take time today to bask in the things that leave you feeling resourced materially and spiritually. A creative hobby or talent provides a pipeline for this inrush of abundance too. Create an online shop for your most inspired wares and watch the currents of your imagination translate into serious returns. I love that.
Aquarius.
It was. Because what are they? They are the rebels of the star.
Yes, they're the rebels. They're
That's the star energy.
Kind of, I don't really care about anybody and anything. I'm just doing me in my own world.
That's what you heard?
And they're smart as fuck. Aquariuses are really smart. I found that the Aquariuses are pretty smart.
Yeah, they go against the grain.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to be like innovators
At all. Yes.
Yeah. I respect most of them, except for that baby daddy, but whatever.
Generally speaking, respect.
That's the importance of knowing everybody's full chart, right? Because then, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Pisces.
Here we go.
I can't talk smack about Pisces no more.
Exactly.
This baby's supposed to be a Pisces. God put me in my place with this one, so I'm gonna receive all of this right now.
That's a fact. So, hey Pisces and Pisces rising. As Venus enters Pisces today, it's easier than ever to assert your personal needs or start your own artistic movements with a spoonful of honey, of course. So pick up your shell phone and call your first cup bearers. With great persuasion comes great responsibility. But honestly, there's nobody else's finger we'd rather be wrapped around. Use this time to magnetize fellow dreamers to the spiritual cause, arts, collective, or passion project that makes your heart flutter. Or indulge your inner muse with a photo shoot by your favorite mountain at a magic hour. Don't forget pennies for wishes.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was gonna be that deep for them.
Yeah.
It's like deep and surface level. It's basically manipulate people into doing what you want them to do.
I was about to
Make them
say that.
think that they love
Wrapped
it.
around his little finger.
Yeah,
Right.
just encourage their shenanigans. Why not?
Yeah. Mhm.
I love it.
Buckle up, Mom.
I know. I mean, the beauty of it is I have all the other elements in here. So
Yes.
within our household, we have a fire, Sag, we have an air, Gemini, we have an earth, Victorian, and Dad is a Scorpio, fixed water. So I think this water is going to loosen everybody up and bring everybody together at the same time.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, I think this is the element that we're missing. So
He's coming.
I'm totally ready and totally down. I'm gonna show y'all the I'm gonna see if I can bring it down.
Yes, the belly.
Yes.
Look at that belly.
It is a glowing.
It is.
Yes, it is a glowing. So
Aww.
33 weeks down and about 4 to 6 ish to go.
Well, our thoughts and our well wishes, positivity, love is with you always.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget to close y'all chakras tonight, please.
Yes, close your chakras tonight. Do you want to give everyone a fuck yeah affirmation?
You see, I was talking about magnetism and then it just popped up in the Pisces thing. I just kept feeling that word. I was like, magnetism.
Oh, yes, you did.
And then it popped up in their reading.
It did. So you got anything for the people?
What is my affirmation today? I don't know. I'm feeling like creativity. So like I'm an amplifier and a proliferator of creativity. Yes.
Come through with the proliferation.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite words, by the way.
Proliferator of activity?
Of creativity.
Of creativity.
Yeah. That'll fit right in with the Pisces energy.
I love it. I am an amplifier and a proliferator of creativity. Ashe. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Love you, sis.
Where can people find you?
So definitely TamykahAnthony.com. From there, explore and go whichever way your heart desires. It has my information there for the 3D printing that I do. It has the womb wellness, offerings. It has my natural product line. It has my homeschool consulting business. My curriculums that I create. Black History Month is coming up. I have a 30 Days of Black Inventions curriculum that I created and that I'm constantly adding to. But yeah, that's like a one-stop shop for everything that I do so far.
Excellent.
So, yes.
Well, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram at the Margarita Podcast. Cash app us the donations. We're buying equipment and doing all this fancy shit over here, so the donations have to help.
Yes.
And if you want to holler at us at the Margarita Podcast. And don't forget, be with love. Don't be a dickhead. Ladies, you got anything for them before we get out of here?
Emphasis on the don't be a dickhead.
Unless you're putting it somewhere that we want you to, right?
In that case, be a big dickhead.
That part.
Yes. Protect your energy.
Protect your energy for
Protect
sure.
your energy.
And close your chakras.
Close them chakras. Call back your energy. All of that.
Call back your energy.
Yes.
Call
Yeah.
back your energy in the morning. And
Mhm.
remember, I said what I said earlier today.
Oh, we
You feel
heard.
me? Okay. So we're gonna get out of here with one of the greats. I will always pay homage to this queen.